almost all economies go through that process in which women who traditionally have been in the home have entered employment. My work concerns long-term change of the labor force, and in particular of the increase of women in the labor force and changes in what women do in the labor force. And in many ways, the change in what women do in the labor force is most important because men are generally in the labor force all the time in economies. Whether women are in the labor force or not, it's about when they're in the labor force, what responsibilities do they have at home versus in their careers. It's about couple equity and gender equality, or couple inequity and gender inequality. As women have increased their role in the labor force, it's become more apparent that there are these huge residual differences. And we stand back from them and we ask, why are there these differences? Women are now more educated than men. They graduate from college at much higher rates than men. They do better in high school than men do. So why are there these differences? And we realize that these differences, although some are found within the labor market, are really reflections of what happens within individuals' homes. And they're an interaction between what happens in the home and what happens in the labor market. And there is greater specialization for women in the home, that women are often take jobs that allow them to be on call at home, and those jobs often pay less. And so ways in which we can even things out or to create more couple equity also leads to more gender equality. I am an optimist. I've always been an optimist. But when I look at the numbers, I think something has happened in America that in the 1990s, our labor force participation rate for women was the highest in the world. And now it isn't the highest in the world. And if countries like France, for example, Canada, even Japan have labor force participation rates for women that are higher than ours, we have to ask why that's the case. Now, it is the case that American women work longer hours. Those who are in the labor force work longer hours. So therefore, we have to step back and ask questions about piecing together the family, the home, together with the marketplace and employment. In terms of employment and labor force participation, the more highly educated women did not have decreases in their labor force participation as much as one would have thought. That means, though, that they had greater stressors, and the impact of these greater stressors might be felt later on in terms of their promotions, for example. But at this point, when we look at the data, what we're struck with are the enormous differences between those with more education in the protected jobs, those who could work at home, work from home, and those who couldn't. Now, work from home for many women became work from hell, and we know that. And so it raised in our consciousness the notion that care should come to the top in terms of public policy.